So hello, welcome to my channel. This is a collaboration between myself and Patty Puckett, Pouring Art. Check her out on YouTube. We contacted each other, well she contacted me quite a while ago actually, and she was out in Hawaii at the time, and so we both came up with ideas as to what we wanted to do, and we decided to do a sunset pour because Patty posted a picture on Facebook that I really liked, and I thought, I just really want to have a go at trying to do some kind of sunset pour. So the brief is that we choose our own colours, our own sunset colours. We do a flip cup. I did an injection pour, I'm not sure if Patty did that, and some kind of land, foreground detail, plant detail. So the brief was quite loose really. So it was a challenge. I think it was a challenge to both of us, but it's good to do this because it makes you think outside the box. I originally didn't do a voiceover for this, but I decided to in the end, and you can see there that's my colour palette. It's quite good to find reference off the internet. I like to have pictures. I like to have something in my mind that I want my pours to resemble. So I'm debating here whether to do 3 flip cup, 4 flip cups. I have no idea. I have my milk paint. I have 2 shades of milk paint. So one is mixed with PBO, kind of a mauvey colour, and the other is mixed with house paint. I haven't done an injection pour, and I only used milk paint once by accident when I was first starting out. So I'm hoping that milk paint with the house paint is going to create some kind of effect. So I'm just going to go straight in and do the rule of thirds. So my bottom third is going to be the land. I've got some, that's pearl black. So it's not black, it's just very like a dark slate. You can't really see it there because the lighting's not that brilliant. So I'm actually going to put a base coat for my land first. There we go. So just kind of create a landscape feel. And just tilt the runoff so you just don't have too much of an excess paint on there. Oh, there goes my email. I'm sat in front of my computer doing a voiceover, and every now and then my computer's going ping. So the size of my canvas is 20 by 50 centimetres, slightly different to Patty's. It's deep edged, gallery wrapped. Quick torch because I just made that black up actually. All my previous paints, and I'm not going through all the colours because I literally made them all up. Some are leftover paints. I think they're all kind of leftover paints, and I just put a bit of this in, a bit of that in. If you have a colour wheel, it's a useful tool to have. And just played around. And this is the second time I've done this. And you can see, just inserted Patty's video here, is the colours we are using are very similar to each other. We start off purpley dark hues at the top and work our way down to yellows and golds, which is what I do here. I've just speeded this up because this actually took a long time. The first one I did took even longer, and I will post that video when I get round to editing it. It's a nice painting, but it's very busy. And the colours were very saturated, so I worked really hard in desaturating my colours. And if you don't know how to do that, you take a colour and you add its complementary colour, but just a tiny little bit. Otherwise you'll get mud. and it just desaturates the colour and doesn't make them so vivid and doesn't make them so bright. So just layering my cups up here. I do end up with 3.5 actually. I didn't add too much red. I had a little bit of red left because the first one I did had a lot of red, and I've added a bit of gold as well, and you'll see what happens with the gold at the end. So with Flip Cup, you just have to go for it. You don't have to think too hard. You can't be too tentative. You've just got to smash them over. Give it a couple of minutes and flip away. Always have to think about it. And here you see Patty flipping hers. So she does hers slightly different to mine. She actually tilts one flip up cup at a time, whereas I flip them all at the same time and then I tilt. So we've all got our different methods, and here I go and I'm injecting some of that dark milk paint, which is a dark mauve, just into a couple of different areas. I don't go too mad with it, and then I take the lighter one and I inject that over the top. Patty's there with her second flip cup. Which are the darker colours that she's using. And you can see there with mine, I've got cells already happening. I'm not a massive fan of lots of cells, and I think that's why I decided to do this again, because my pouring medium usually is Floetrol and GAC 800, and I find the GAC 800 has a stabilising effect. Not only does it dry beautifully with a lovely sheen, you can walk away from a painting and come back the next day and it's the same. So because I am using Floetrol, so 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, and I actually use 1 part Liquid-X pouring medium and a little bit of water so all the paints are the correct consistencies. So I won't use that pouring medium again actually. So we're going in for the land now. I have three little cups there with burnt umber, some gold which I've added to some green too, so I've knocked the gold back, and I think I've got another kind of a black. It might be a burnt sienna, so those kind of brown gold colours, and I'm just laying my swipe colours down, and you'll see I decide to swipe from side to side, so I'm in and ahhing as to what I go in with and what I don't. I decide to add some more of the golden orangey burnt. That's actually table paint from my last painting, because I want to have some reflections of the colours in the sky in the hills, and you'll see that happen. So just a damp paper towel, I've cut them into thin strips and I swipe, there we go, down and around. So the second swipe will be the same, but from the opposite side. And you can see the cells in the top there, they're starting to emerge. And I didn't torch, because the first painting I did torch, and the cells just took over. So that's the first 2 swipes. So now I go in with, I'm waiting for myself to do something. I do a voiceover And I get quite cross with myself. I get quite impatient watching myself, you know, on screen, thinking, what are you doing? Quickly. So I add some gold then, and I swipe again. So you can see I'm creating a layered effect, talking away to myself. And you can see those colours reflected in those background hills, I'm going to call them. And as I get close to the foreground, I'm actually going a little bit darker. But I'm introducing some highlights there with some gold. Here we go. Oh, swiping again. I can't resist. I can't swipe once. It's got to be done 2 or 3 times. And then one more. There we go. And you can see those hills beginning to form. You can also see those cells beginning to form and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. If they'd have stayed there, I would have been very happy with this painting. But there you go, you can't have it always, can you? I've actually just noticed that there's I've actually doubled up on that bit of video. Never mind, eh? So, this is the painting so far. Really happy with the top. Really happy with the middle. Then this bottom bit, really not happy with. Really happy with the land, the hills. Got some lovely highlights going on here, reflection from the sky. A little bit of foreground detail, a little bit of greeny, goldy happening. So this section here, I have got a very big balloon and I'm going to roll over the whole of that section and get rid of those crazy cells. So there we are. They're just some really, really subtle balloon smashes in the corner. Then just there, in between the hills, there's going to be a sun. And I think that will balance out quite nicely with the rest of it. The cells have grown again. Hopefully they won't get any bigger. Quite fat. Milk paint hasn't really done anything, but I really like that pale line that just runs. See it there? That's quite nice. So stay tuned for a little time lapse of the sun, and I'll probably go in with some black with a brush and just enhance these smashes to make them look a little bit more like palm trees. So you can see Patty's painting here. She is beginning to go in with her embellishments over the top, and I'm just marking in the area that I want a sun as it's going down to be. And I've just mixed up some, what have I mixed up? Cadmium yellow. And I want it to be quite painterly, which is quite of a loose style. So you can see I've actually put it on the easel and I'm standing back and I'm holding a long paintbrush, and that way you keep the style loose. And you can see that I'm just adding some black to the foreground down at the bottom, just to resemble some palm trees, because I want them to be silhouetted in the foreground. And Patty's been very clever. I didn't think about this, but she's using popsicle sticks, and she's using different things to add her embellishments over the top, her foreground detail, her flowers. So check her video out to see how she does that and pick up some tips. So I go back in and I work on that sun with quite thick paint because I want to see the brush strokes. I want it to be quite, I want to say impressionist, but it's very painterly. When you look at some paintings, they use very few strokes to get across a really lovely visual effect, actually. So there you go. I'm layering my paint up thicker and thicker and thicker. And Patty's there. I'm not sure what she's using there, but it looks like cotton buds. And she's adding in her foreground detail. So I'm just using different shades of yellow, cadmium yellow, Hansa yellow. I think I've added a little bit of blue to create a knocked back effect. And that molar, I'm calling it a molar up the top there because it looks like a tooth. I was debating there whether to paint over it and try and blend it in, but then I thought, no, I'm going to ruin it. So there you go. That's the 2 finished paintings. I hope you enjoyed them. And thanks for watching.